You're such an asshole.
So one of the regular guys, he sent me a request and he said, knowledge discrimination. I said, well, what are you talking about? Well, I got it right here. And he says, knowledge discrimination. How much for your thoughts on the legal ramifications and how it would play out? I said, what's knowledge discrimination? And he says, well, a long response. I think you touched on knowledge discrimination in a video a few weeks ago. I think it was you. The idea has been rolling around in my head since I heard it. I came up with this 3 years ago as the oldest video I could find, probably before that in my mind. What I arrived at is if you had trained yourself, studied a subject, and or acquired knowledge on how to perform a task through alternative means, one should be permitted to demonstrate that knowledge through testing and providing examples. Right. A certification-based education system where you could go to college and get the education, but that doesn't matter. It's did you pass the test? And I've advocated this for years now, where it doesn't matter who's in charge, and technically Democrats should be for this too, where poor people can't afford to go to college for 4 to 6 years, right? You want to help out poor, and I know no one exists in Democrat world except for non-white men, straight. So if you really want to help out disadvantaged groups and everyone in general, especially young people, whoever the politician is that implements this, will have the young person's vote for the next generation. Where you don't have to cripple yourself with debt to go to college. The Democrats are going to be, by the way, I'm assuming some intellectual honesty on the part of Democrats. Democrats will never give up higher education as a mandatory requirement to work, because that's how they brainwash you young kids. That's how they enrich all the professors and get bullshit fake studies that claim the opposite of what the reality is. So the Democrats are not going to be for a certification-based system. That's where they get all their future voters. But yeah, man, I don't know if you heard of this thing called the internet. I don't know if you've noticed how the boomers, probably a lot of Democrats, want you to come to work, because if I can't see you, how do I not know you're working? They're very resilient. They're very resistant to that. So you got to commute and be miserable like us when we were in the 70s. Isn't it weird how education more or less is free? Like, think about that. If you went through a self-certification route, right? If I went and got a bunch of old books on accounting and test the CPA exam, which you could do way back in the day, you didn't need a master's degree. You get your CPA, you can go and work, right? So I don't have to spend 4 years of my youth and Lord knows how much money, not to mention half of it wasted on Democrat brainwashing courses. I could go right to work. It doesn't matter what age. I got the CPA, right? This would be a golden opportunity for any politician who came in and says, you can, and this is how I had to sit and think about the nature of it, saying you cannot discriminate against knowledge. And that's where John here has right phrase, knowledge discrimination. And it's technically not knowledge discrimination. It would be discriminating against how you acquired the knowledge, right? Oh, you got the same test score as the college educated person? Well, they went to college, so we're going to hire them. No, you are unnecessarily burdening people. You are discriminating disproportionately against poor people and minorities, maybe women, who do not have the resources to go to college, right? I've said it a million times, all these CPA accounting leagues and guilds, we want to help out blacks and minorities. Oh, is that why you require a master's degree? Because that really helps out poor people in the black communities. Yeah, making them go to school for, what is it, 19 years and going into debt for a master's degree. That's really helping out poor people. Yeah. It's no different than why are we commuting, right? We could have revolutionized the labor. We wouldn't have to commute. There'd be no traffic jams. We could have had this 20 years ago. You got to do it my way. And now with all the world's information on the internet, why do I need to go pay some washed up TA who can't find a real job to teach me? I'll go learn it myself for a fraction of the cost or for free, ideally. And if you really want to be old school American, truly meritocratic, you take the test. Did you pass the test? Good. And this is where the government could come in with the force of law, say you cannot discriminate against how people acquired the knowledge. If they test and they did it right, you must treat them equivalent to college graduates. Scare the piss out of all you worthless academics. It's right there. Donald Trump could do it, or whoever the future presidents are, Democrat or Republican. If you really wanted to help out the young kids and the poor kids, which they tend to be poor because they're young, you really wanted to help, you want to reach out to the younger generation, there you go. And you go after these corpos, man. You say, oh, I see bachelor's required, master's preferred. Why is that? Why do you require a master's degree for what really could be done by an 8th grader? Okay. No, you can do that. Oh my God, did your taxes go up to 45%? Look at that. And not too terribly tangentially far away related. This would be a very good case, because who's requiring all these college degrees? Corporate employers are. So if we didn't have to have all these worthless college degrees, then we wouldn't have this debt problem. I wonder if we should charge corpos just a temporary corporate tax to bail out the student loans. I'm not a big student loan bailout guy. I'm actually quite against it. But there's no denying you corpos are the ones that required it. We need to get rid of this tremendously inefficient education system we have and replace it with a certification system. Oh, sure, you need what, are American parents going to raise their own kids and teach them? Hell no. Bipsy's got to go get a Range Rover and get her, MBA and girl boss. She can't raise her own kids. That's why I need the public schools. So, all right, from kindergarten to whatever, the 3rd or 4th grade, well, maybe more like 6th or 7th or 8th grade. We should probably have some basic education. I'm with you on that. Who else is going to babysit the kids? Not the American parents. Am I right? Cool, hip American parents? Things are more important than your children. But after that, I don't care if you're in the 9th grade. Well, what am I? I don't care if you're 14 years old. Did you pass the CPA exam? Buddy, you could practice. Surgeons, medical profession, FAA. I'd want to, unless it's UCLA, where in case they were like, oh my God, not white males. Let's give everyone doctorates in medicine. I'm like, fuck that. Are you from UCLA? Goodbye. But yeah, that's basically knowledge discrimination. I know you have the knowledge. You might even have the years experience, but you don't have a college degree. You didn't get it the way we'd like you to get it. So we're going to discriminate against you. That should be very apolitical, but you're going to see who's really against it. It'll be the Democrats, even though it would disproportionately actually help out minorities and poor people. What I arrived at is if you have trained to perform the task, one should be permitted to demonstrate that knowledge through testing and providing examples that demonstrate knowledge and competency. Basically, knowledge discrimination it should not matter where you learned it. It should only matter that you learned it. A doctor, lawyer, architect, or engineer are examples of legally protected titles and terms. Being one of them is a privilege, not a right. Those titles are registered, issued, and regulated by the government. It is reasonable for the government to have that authority for safety and other reasons. The government should not be allowed to limit access to those occupations to only people who went to college and work for someone who's already licensed. Everyone should be allowed to access to their entrance exam. Another example would be bachelor's required, master's preferred. To all the HR Karens out there who wrote that down, fuck you. And I hope the things that should happen to you happen to you for impoverishing generations of young people, requiring ridiculous levels of education just so you could feel down there good in your hoo-ha. I got a mention to me. If someone chooses not to go into debt for college and teach themselves, one cannot be denied the opportunity, at the very least, interview for a job. I would have a government agency that would go and audit hiring practices of every corporation in the United States, saying, okay, are you hiring just as many people that didn't go to college as those that did with equivalent years experience? And do you have a testing program? Okay, you tested them. Oh, all right. They scored higher than the college-educated idiots. Well, they did go to UW-Madison, special needs college over there. Why'd you hire more people from Madison than the people that scored better? Oh, is your tax rate 53% now? Oh, wow. How's that going, Corpo? Or be outright denied a job for not having a college degree after they have demonstrated competence. A field like accounting, for example. I'm not advocating for the removal of college. I sure the fuck am. Although you might. No, if you want to have a private college education, and I mean, really, I'm not even for getting rid of women's studies degree. Are you a private college? You take private money? All right, then create the world's dumbest college degrees. I mean, Yale, for God's sake, has, I think, a course on Taylor Swift. Like, dude, you guys are so dumb. We're from Yale. I know. You're fucking dumb. No, my daddy. Shh. No talkie. No talkie now. I'm okay if you have a private college and you can offer butt plug studies for all I care. It's private money. Go have fun. But the government shouldn't be lending. Well, the government should be lending any money for financing. Watch how quickly tuition would drop them boys and girls. But yeah, there's, and some you need a trade school and hands-on. Obviously, you need an actual school with equipment and gear. But like knowledge degrees where it's all on the internet or reading books, like accounting or law, I guess. Yeah, no, you could pass the bar exam. And oddly enough, California allows it to do that. You could pass the bar exam, I think, without having to go to law school. So I'm okay if colleges are there, but fuck if taxpayer money is going to go pay for a fucking English degree or a journo degree or a women's studies degree or the traditional paths to these professors. I think everyone should have the opportunity to take the test or demonstrate competence, no matter where or how they learn something. Admittedly, this would be a very small group of people who can teach themselves the knowledge to pass the bar exam, for example. I think you'd be surprised. I think if you are not forced to go to school and listen to idiotic teachers who suck the life out of you, that you're no longer paying attention. That's like 70% of college or high school kids or K through 12 kids. I would also, that's a lot of college education too. I think if people were allowed to focus on studying what they wanted to, they could pass these exams rather quickly. I see no reason you can't have 16, 17, 18-year-old, 19-year-old kids. People can't even drink, qualifying for certain skills and trades. Because you're not saying, we're going to dangling participle. We're going to break apart English sentences. So Miss Wormworth over here, who's like an unfuckable, unmarriable spinster, can keep getting her teacher's pension. No, fuck out of here. I think you'd see a lot more people passing these exams. We wouldn't have to waste all of our youth in higher education. You wouldn't have to waste the money on the debt either just to afford a college degree. Whatever politician, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Communist, decides, hey, we're passing a law, you cannot discriminate against how knowledge was acquired, that you will have the vote of the young generation for at least a generation. At least. And I don't know if politicians care about it. It's the right thing to do. You've tortured, 3 generations of kids now, forcing them to go get these ridiculous fucking college degrees. You torture them to sit way too long in school, K through 12, fuck you. K through 8. And now we're out. You're making money by 16. We'd have to admit that K through 12 is a babysitting operation. I know, but maybe if we stop treating kids like little kids, maybe a little bit more like potentially responsible adults. Never mind. It'd be a small percentage of people who could teach themselves the knowledge to pass the bar exam, for example, but everyone should be allowed to take the bar exam. You're correct. You're correct. Yeah, and that's basically it. I mean, we currently actively discriminate against the acquisition of knowledge. Knowledge should be a human right, and it should be treated equally under the law, no matter how you got it. I think I'm not a human rights lawyer or expert, but somebody out there who is a human rights lawyer or expert, or just a politician. I even sent letters to different congressmen. But I'm like, hey, how about this? I have a video I've done where I wrote an article on my blog like 2 years ago. It's read on my YouTube channel. I have it linked below. It's a much more cogent, scripted, organized argument that I made. But I mean, do you guys understand that point? How it's keeping young people poor, young people down, that you have to go through this ridiculous college education requirement? It's on par with forcing you to commute when you don't have to. And if you can self-study, pass it, why do you have to be held back because you have the discipline to self-study and pass the test? I mean, it's almost going back to like the British days, or any European thing. Like you couldn't be an officer unless you were part of the nobility. Fuck you. Has he got what it takes? Does he pass the competent? What's the ASVAB? What does it look like? Put him in. All right. So that's linked below. And then just my book, Zero World Problems, latest book is out. It focuses on new standards of living that really have nothing to do with finance, things that you could pursue in life to increase your economic standards of living. Not really germane to the topic we're talking about here. Pringles can with veins, $5. Simple. Kids at 13 choose. Teach them trade, certification, and offer credit by exam, self-paced. By 16, they can work, build a house, or join the army. Absolutely, man. I got a buddy. He's got 2 little kids, a daughter and a son. Naturally, the daughter, I will admit, she is more mature than the boy, although the boy is 2 years younger than the daughter. And, boys being boys, they don't like school. Is perfectly normal. But my friend, their father, the daughter, I think, is 13 or 14, and she's already interested in accounting. He's like, I think I could get her to do accounting. I'm like, cool. Well, by the time she's 16, she can make $50 an hour, make more than you and I did when we were twice that age. He's like laughing. His son, albeit a boy, 11 years old, and 11-year-old boy's going to do what 11-year-old boys do, but he helps his dad on manufacturing and construction and carpentry projects. This kid could probably bill out at $35 an hour. Again, doing better than me and his dad did when we were 3 times that kid's age. It's going to take it's funny. It would be very easy at the federal level to do this. You pass it's a right. I don't know if it's a bill of right. And you say, yeah, you can't discriminate against how knowledge was acquired in this country. You have to give people that right. They're entitled to the right to equal valued knowledge, right? So that would be easy. And you just threaten corporate taxes against any corpos who listen to their HR bitches about, man, I want to be like the man that I want to date. Why can't I find a man? Why can't we find employees? Why is turnover so high? Because you're the same person, an insufferable bitch at work and in the bed. Goodbye. Get rid of all that. Shit, what was I going to say? That'd be the easy part. It's going to be getting American parents to actually do what my friend does, and that is invest in their children and raise their children. Say, okay, we're going to teach you and get you educated so you do better than us. Most parents just want to outsource their kids to not like K through 12, but now I see in a generation my age, they're like, we got to pay our kids to go to college. College. Here I am, the guy who wrote Worthless a long time ago. Oh yeah, what's your kid studying? Marketing. Do you remember these are close friends of mine. Do you remember the conversation? I've talked to your kid. What? Well, Oh, that's right. Everyone's an American now. Yeah, fuck your kids, right? Because who gives a shit about them? Hopefully they're poor for the rest of their life. Robert Archer, our Minot, North Dakota agent in the field, $5. These folks he's speaking of couldn't pour yellow water out of a boat if you writ the instructions on the heel. Good day, Mr. Cappy. That's because we treat our kids like idiots. If you sat kids down, my buddy who sat his kids down and trained them, there's a good chance his daughter will make $50 an hour. Not like the rest of you American girls do. Like she's going to become an accountant. I don't know if you knew. Never mind. But that's hard and boring. Yeah, it is. You're right. Your current day crop of America. Look, none of our problems are going to be solved in a week. A lot of them are generational. You're just going to have to wait for this generation to die out. Like, I'm sorry, Zoomers and millennials, you're not going to solve the population problem. It's too late. You've been hardwired and engineered and pigeonholed into paths that are not going to result in you having the money, let alone the desire to have children. Right, ladies? So, but the next generation, we could start with Generation Alpha, or at least pass the law. You can't discriminate. And dude, how many other people would like, oh, I could get certified in this, I get certified in that. I got the test. All right, you can't discriminate against me. It's going to take a couple lawsuits. Oh, you didn't hire the self-certified people. Oh, man, look at that. A 63% tax. And all of a sudden, the student loan bailout problem is gone. Look at that. Why isn't that interesting? I wonder if we can use corporate taxes to pay off the debt until you get with the fucking program, become a good corporate citizen here in the United. Oh, wait, did you hire a bunch of foreigners? Oh, man. You know the $3 you saved doing that? Yeah, your taxes just went up 100 million. I wonder if that was a good financial decision. Yeah, you better hire Americans. Apex, 20 generous dollars. How much do I have to pay to have you research and do a video on a topic? We have some Democrats from Chicago trying to pass a law in our state that all homeschooled parents have to answer to the public school. I mean, you kind of described it, right? What do you want me to research? Is there anything to research? Yeah, Democrats don't want, they want your children. They don't want kids homeschooled. They want their money, and they want to make sure they can brainwash your kids to vote Democrat, hate white people, hate men, evil capitalism. America is horrible. Republicans in the Senate, right? I mean, I don't know what would you like me to find out? Why don't you, Apex? Why don't you sit down and figure? You spend $20. Sit down, figure out what you would want me to figure out about this that we already couldn't surmise or know. Yeah, it's going to be a bunch of dopey, dumbass leftists over in Chicago. It's going to be the teachers union. It's going to be a bunch of hate people, and they're going to want to like that. You have to answer to the public schools. What else is there? Next thing you're going to tell me is Ocasio-Cortez said something stupid and has nice tits. Well, you know, man in Las Vegas wears blue shirt. News at 6. So, yeah, I don't know if there's much of a video to do on it. All right, that's about it. All right, link below. Zero World Problems, New Standards of Living for a Post-Materialist Economy. You can find that on Amazon with the link below. And then there's that video where the article is read. I think you can even find it on my blog. It's not going to be more than 4 or 5 posts down. That's captaincapitalism.blogspot.com. I'll see you guys later, Toodles.